The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/expat2020. Hey everybody, welcome to The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 30. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Dan. How you doing, Dan? Episode 30, man. Who would have thunk it?
The big 3-0. That's is it really? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
It's certainly flown by, hasn't it? I mean, 30 weeks. It's 30 weeks.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Unbelievable. Time
Wow.
flies, man. Yeah. So how you doing this week?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Not much to report. I've been going to work a lot because we're working on something at the Centre for Computing History. But I've not been that and gaming.
I see.
How about you? What you been up to?
Just winding down the year at the schools.
Of course.
Schools are going to be closing pretty soon because it's different from the West. Here in Japan, particularly in America, the school system finishes its school year at the end of March, then begins at the beginning of April for the new school year. Whereas in America, of course, it starts in September. So kind of winding down here. I'm really, really busy closing my business, or I'm going to be moving it, of course. It's going to be an online business. So
cool.
This month, especially towards the end of the month, is going to be really, really busy. So not looking forward to it, but got to get it done. So yeah,
it's kind of missing and not being there to give you a hand, move some boxes around.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Would have been quite fun.
Yeah. So we got a big show in store for you today. Today we're going to be, of course, talking about the Nintendo Switch, a new Switch in the works. We're going to be talking about the Fall Guys game, and now it's been bought by the Epic Games makers. We're also going to be talking about a VR showcase that showed off 6 new games. And much more. But before that, before jumping into what Dan and I have been playing, I want to tell everyone out there that this episode will be going up on Patreon at patreon.com/expat2020 in early access for the first 3 days after recording. So if you'd like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and listen ad-free along with other perks, including exclusive post-show episodes, please visit patreon.com/expat2020 for further details. On Tuesdays each week, the podcast will be uploaded to all the free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and my YouTube channel, Expat2020 Gaming. Just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a website for the podcast at expat2020.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, which stands for a multi-platform gaming news podcast, as well as on Instagram at the arena_podcast. So, Dan, this last week I finished Hivebusters. I finally finished that.
I thought you were going to say bloody Valhalla. I was like, good, I'm sick of hearing about that effing game.
No, I haven't finished that yet. But
Jesus.
I finished Hivebusters. It's really, really good. And what I really like about it is you have like these 2 different maps that are completely new from the whole Gears series. Basically, you're in a jungle environment in one of them. And then in another map scale, you're basically in the depths of the earth in a volcanic area and you're sliding all over the place. It kind of reminded me of like some parts of an Uncharted game where you're like sliding, like a mudslides and stuff like that, but you're in a volcano, and it was really cool. The boss battle at the end was really fun. It wasn't that hard, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay.
I really highly recommend it to everybody who is, a Gears fan, or even those that have not ever played a Gears game. I mean, it's really, really fun. It's has 6 chapters in it, so it's a pretty decent length of a game. I'd say about maybe 7 or 8 hours worth of gameplay in it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed playing it, and I really highly recommend it to everybody out there. So, Dan, what about you? What have you been playing, man?
What have I been playing? I don't know. A lot of Animal Crossing again, because in Animal Crossing, all the Mario paraphernalia has come out now, so you can have on your island, you can have warp pipes which move you around. You can have the flagpoles. You can have all your costumes. I'm currently dressed as Peach, which is quite exciting. I've been playing a lot of Master System games because I've had a massive Master System binge. I'll talk more about that later. Yeah, that's about it, really. A bit of Mario 3D World still, which never ends. Mario 3D World does not end. Like, I finished the main game, and it's like 5 more bonus worlds, and it's kind of like, yeah, it is. It makes you feel, it's you shouldn't feel bad because that's a lot of game, and it's a lot of very good game. I mean, even the bonus levels are still very, very high quality, but it's kind of like, yeah.
It just never ends, eh? Yeah.
It certainly does feel that way. Yeah.
Kind of like Valhalla for me.
Yeah.
And never going to end. Yeah.
No, it isn't. And I started playing No Man's Sky again because there's been yet another patch. So I've popped in a couple of times since they've had numerous updates, and this is I'm actually having a proper serious. I've put about 10 hours into it now since this latest patch. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a completely different game now, and they've actually streamlined quite a lot of it because there's so much more game. When I played it previously after the big patches, it was still quite a slog. They've streamlined a lot of things now, making it a lot simpler to just get what you need and get stuff made and get out into the stars, which is very, very cool. And loads of more story-based content and like little short missions you can do to get cool loot. I'll be spending a lot more time on that, I think, because it's.
Now I have a question for you on that. Yeah. With all this new content, is that also on VR?
Yeah. It all ports across. Yeah, it's all on VR. It's all there. Cool. I haven't played it. I played it once in VR. It was okay. It was very, very impressive. But it's not the main way I'd like to play that game. But it was certainly very, very cool indeed. But yeah, man, that game's not. Except there's a persistent bug which makes one enemy on one certain type of animal on a planet won't spawn in, so you can't scan all animals, which is really annoying.
Wow.
So which you have to do, which is also.
I see.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to point out that I was playing. I wanted to stream the Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah,
the Peril on Gorgon.
Uh-huh.
And a warning to all of you out there who haven't played Peril on Gorgon yet, and you're very close to finishing the main story in the main game. Don't do it. Don't finish the main story. Because basically what it does, if you finish the main story, it locks you out and you cannot open the DLC. Unless you have a save file from way previously in the game, which I didn't have. And so basically I was like, how do I open this? I can't get the DLC open. So basically it's a fix that needs to be worked through by Obsidian. And apparently they're trying to work that out so that if you finish the main story, you'll be able to access the DLC. But to this point, you cannot do it. So if you do not finish the very final mission, you're okay. But if you finish that final mission, you're screwed. So just a warning for you out there. If you're playing the Outer Worlds, don't finish the game if you want to play the DLC at this moment. So,
bloody hell.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it too, and I was like, I was running around trying to figure out, okay, where do I unlock it?
Yeah.
And then I went into the wikis, and it was like, people having the same problem. It's like they couldn't open it because they finished the main story, and they didn't have a save file from like farther back in the game. So,
Deal.
yeah. But eventually, when they get the fix, I'll go back to it and start playing it. But yeah. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And also, our topic of the show, we're going to be talking about video game franchises and those franchises becoming TV series. We're going to be talking about that a lot too. So, but the first story tonight, of course, was I think the biggest story of the news week. Of course, we're getting a new model of the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's going to be called the Switch 2 or whatever, Switch Pro. I don't know. They really didn't say anything about that. But basically, from the Bloomberg report, it looks like there's definitely going to be an increase in screen size. So from like 6.2 inches, it's going to be a 7-inch screen with 720p resolution, OLED. Yeah. And that's the big thing here, OLED. And Samsung is going to be the producers of this OLED screen. And I think the reason why they were able to get a deal with Samsung is the OLED market, right, has become very, very competitive. And that means they've had to drop prices. And so I think that's why Nintendo is jumping on this now. And getting together with Samsung. And which this basically means that with an OLED screen, you're going to get a better battery life. And that is the big thing with most Nintendo Switch gamers, is that they want to have more battery life when they're playing it in handheld mode and they're not docking the system. And then they basically said, if you're docking this new Switch model, you'll be able to get 4K resolution on your TV screens. So yeah, let's talk about this, Dan. I mean, what do you think? Is this a seller for you? What do you think of all this?
Yeah. Then I can buy, the same games that were out on the Wii U again, but this time in 4K. No, yeah. Okay, whatever. The 4K is an interesting thing because not since the GameCube have Nintendo cared about graphics. They've not tried to be the cutting edge. Famously, NES, N64, GameCube were all powerhouses, really pushing graphical fidelity, graphical power. And then with the Wii, they gave up. And the Wii U, they gave up. And the Switch, they gave up. So to see them go, okay, we want this looking like this, 4K to match the big boys. Well, it doesn't really, but to get on par with them. It's a good idea. It's interesting, certainly. Battery life's always going to be an issue. Battery life's the number one.
For me, I don't care so much about the resolution. I mean, I think most gamers out there, when it comes to playing games in 4K, it's either going to be on PC or on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah, but Nintendo's wise enough to know that people who aren't as well informed see those numbers and see it as important. Yeah, they go, people care about 4K. I mean, people don't care about. People don't even realize what it even means, but they're like, oh, that's got 4K. I have to have that. It's going to be a 4K Switch, which is like, well, the bloody Switch outputs at 720 for a lot of things. And it's like, and it's good enough. You've never complained about the graphics now, and it's like, oh well, now it's in 4K. It's like, but
it's like, what percentage of people are actually going to be playing it in the dock? Like in 4K. I mean, most people are going to be playing it in handheld mode, and they're going to want the bigger, longer battery life, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That's obviously the number one thing is the battery life is. But then the more powerful, it's all comparable. It's all scaled. So if you have a more shinier, faster, smarter, harder machine, the battery life is going to have to still be compromised to keep up with it. So you won't have a battery life that's twice the size of the current Switch. It's not going to happen unless you've got like an 8-inch thick Switch. But
do you think on this new model, the Joy-Cons will be bigger?
I think they'll have a redesign, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the drift issue and everything.
Yeah, and they cannot afford not to do that because
Can you just imagine if the drift issue persists?
I mean,
in a new model,
it's so naughty. I mean, I'm amazed it's still persisting now. They've known about it for 4 years, and they haven't done jack shit about it, which is really bad.
And all the court cases and everything
utterly deserved
out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's meh. Big meh. I don't. But like the Nintendo thing isn't graphical power anymore, so I don't know. I don't know. It's always in the strength of the software. But I mean, I guess even announcing a shift to 4K is still being behind, because Xbox new is and Xbox PS5 are like 4K, 8K. We're going hard and fast here, and Nintendo's like, oh, you remember that thing from last generation? We're going to do that next, which is kind of cute. But
yeah. From this Bloomberg report, they're saying that is as early as June, an initial monthly target of just under 1 million units, for example, could be out. And then the displays are slated for shipment to assemblers around July. So that could mean that they're trying to get enough ready for the holiday season, I think.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. Because, of course, this coming Christmas... in theory, there'll be some PS5s and Xboxes in stock. So this is when... Well, actually, it would have been better to come last year. But this is when Nintendo wants to come in and take a bit of the shine off the true next-gen big consoles.
Yeah.
But
I was talking about this... Yeah, I was talking about this on my news stream last night on Twitch. About... Just imagine... earlier this week, of course, the release window for Horizon Forbidden West on Sony's end has been in like commercials and everything. Just imagine if this new model of Switch comes out, and I don't think this is going to happen, but just imagine if Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 comes out alongside Horizon Forbidden West, it'll be like 2017 all over again. I mean, yeah. It would be interesting, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think something else is going to come out with the new Switch model, but that would be something, I think. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Between the end of the fiscal year ending March 2022 and that and the holiday season this year, I think Switch could kill it again. I mean, Nintendo, that is, So, but I think most hardcore gamers that have a Nintendo Switch, they're gonna go out and buy this, obviously, day one.
I mean, I'm getting a definite 3DS, new 3DS, because they're already talking about games won't be backwards compatible and stuff. You can't buy like new Switch games and expect them to run on the original Switch. So I'm getting a definite 3DS, new 3DS vibe from this. I'm sure it's going to be, in terms of output and like the screen on your unit, it's going to look better, but I'm not sure it's going to be like a graphical quantum leap. Between the two things. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you still will be able to play like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild on it. Yeah,
it'll work that way. It just won't work backwards.
Yeah,
like there was a handful of new 3DS games which won't work on the original 3DS.
Right.
Like a couple of Pokemon games and stuff. I think Monster Hunter doesn't work. It's not backwards compatible with the earlier 3DSs. But
Yep, so I'm sure we'll probably be hearing more about this around summertime, I think.
Endlessly, yeah.
And did you hear the news also, Dan, about they did have some news about Metroid? Actually, they showed some footage of Metroid games from the past and everything, kind of like hyping up Metroid. And when they were doing that, they had no sound.
I missed this? When was this?
It was last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, maybe,
As part of the Direct?
Yeah, it wasn't part of the Direct, but I mean, it was something completely, different from the Direct. But I think it was because of Metroid's anniversary or something. Like
that?
Yeah. So they were showing a lot of footage of the Metroid games, but no sound.
Brilliant.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on from the Nintendo now and move on to Fall Guys. So basically, Epic Games is buying the Fall Guys developer. So Fortnite is going to have a field day with this, I think. It's yeah. So Epic Games has bought Tonic Games Group, the company that owns Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Studio Media Tonic. So it was announced via a joint post on the Epic Games blog. So basically, they're saying that the gameplay isn't going to be changing. So those of you that are out there that are big fans of Fall Guys that have played, Dan, have you played Fall Guys yet?
No,
not yet.
No.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's kind of like it reminds me of a game that would be on Switch. It really
it does have that feel to it.
Yeah. But anyway, they're saying the Fall Guys gameplay isn't changing. The plans to bring the game to Switch and Xbox will continue as previously announced. So I don't know, Dan. What do you think of this? I have a feeling that you're going to start seeing Fortnite skins and Fortnite
invariably,
in Fall Guys, and then in Fall Guys stuff in Fortnite. What do you think of this?
Whatever. Very little interest. I don't play either game. I get it. That's all I have to say.
It's interesting why Epic Games bought Mediatonic. I don't know.
I guess it would be quite a cheap buy. I mean, they've had like one pretty decent game, excuse me, which for all the hype Fall Guys got, it was soon glossed over once Among Us came out.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It makes sense to buy them and hopefully get their Fall Guys 2 and all the money they can make off microtransactions goes into Epic.
Yeah, because Fall Guys is now a seasonal thing. So
exactly. So
like Fortnite. So you're going to see a ton of that stuff being crossed over, I think, now. So yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next story. So everything announced in Sony's March 2021 PSVR spotlight. So there was a PSVR spotlight, and it kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, I think. But the PSVR is far from being dead, especially on PlayStation 4. And also you can play these games on PlayStation 5, but you need an adapter for the PSVR unit.
I've got mine.
PS5, yeah. You can order them from Sony, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I've got it right here.
Yeah,
all I need now is a PS5, and I'm
set. Exactly. Where are the PS5s? Give me a PS5, man. Come on. All right, so there were 6 games announced, and 4 of the 6 games had never been announced yet. So they were kind of like like world premieres. So basically, the first game on the list here, I'm going to go through some of them. Doom 3 VR Edition.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool. So, yep. So, the pace, the fear factor, Doom 3. So, on lightning fast reflexes and Twitch gameplay. So that's going to be pretty cool. I was watching the YouTube video of it, and I mean, in VR, you see like hands with no arms, things like that. So but I don't know. Is this something you would try out, Dan? Would you play Doom 3 in VR? Yeah,
I would. Yeah. I like the game. I played Doom VFR, but then these games are hampered because again I can't play them standing up because I haven't got the room for it. So VFR is really hard to play sitting down. But
and it will also support the PS Aim controller as well.
Oh, nice! Yeah, I got that as well. So that'd be quite fun. That would work quite well. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sounds good.
The next game up, it's called Fract. So it's a hyper-fast action game that gives players a whole new perspective on ski slope adventures. So, it kind of had an indie style to it. The art style was pretty cool.
Right.
But, just a lot of shooting on skis, basically.
Nice.
So, yeah. Next up was After the Fall. So this game is developed by by Vertigo Games. They developed Arizona Sunshine. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah. Zombie shooting game, right?
Yeah, and this is going to be very similar. It takes place in a zombie-filled apocalypse. You and up to 3 other friends can join in the 4-player co-op gameplay. But the problem was, it's all what they showed was just a cinematic trailer. They didn't show any gameplay of this whatsoever. So this is probably a ways out. I really can't judge anything just on a cinematic trailer. So yeah. It will have a beta sign up too that you can enter and get a chance to play early.
Right. Okay.
Next up on the list, I Expect You to Die 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you received an extended version of the announcement trailer with a peek at some additional details and puzzles. So this is a very puzzle emphasized game. You'll see in the full game when it releases later this year. So yeah. It's all about puzzle solving and escaping harrowing situations. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So very puzzle oriented. Next up, Song in the Smoke. So this is very kind of like going out into the wild and hunting for resources and killing game and basically self-survival. So it looked okay. Very Indian in nature as well. So it aims to make virtual survival more personal in a way that only VR can offer, giving gamers a chance to make the most of their days before the night comes.
Okay.
So yeah, Song in the Smoke. And then the last game that was shown, this is kind of weird because it's going to be an MMO.
All right.
This is kind of like the first type of MMO game in VR called Zenith: The Last City. Yeah.
All right. This sounds very conceptual. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it aims to fill that missing hole in PSVR gamers' libraries with a JRPG-inspired action-adventure title filled to the brim with things to do. It's full of massive cities, gorgeous shorelines, and towering cliffs.
All right.
All of which you can climb and scale thanks to a unique locomotion system that encourages players to explore every nook and cranny available. Okay. So that's going to be out later this year. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, a lot of these games, they just had some short trailers and they looked very indie in scope.
All right.
I think for me, of the 6, Doom 3.
For sure. Yeah. No, very interested in that. Yeah, I've already got it on the PS4 and on the Switch. I think I bought it on both for some reason. But yeah, obviously the not VR version. But yeah, I'll be playing it on VR. You good?
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely the one I would play. So. But yeah, so PSVR definitely being supported. Continually until the PSVR 2 comes out, whenever that is, probably 2023 or something like that. I would imagine. So,
okay,
all right, okay. So next up on the news was another PlayStation story. PlayStation Store to stop movie and TV show purchases.
Yeah,
this is kind of interesting. So. The game platform owned by a company with a film production studio is going to stop selling movies on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of this story, Dan? I don't know. I'm thinking that there's a possibility that Sony is planning to start their own single streaming service. I don't know. What do you think of this?
I don't know. I mean, it seems weird. When I read it, I wasn't that surprised. I mean, who really uses their... I mean, the PS4 and 5 have like 25 streaming services already on it. So like people aren't using it. People aren't going to go, I'm going to buy one movie from Sony for 99 cents or whatever. And then I could just watch infinite movies on Disney Plus, on Prime, on Netflix. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like a worthy use of their resources because it costs money to host all these movies that no one's watching, and so yeah, it doesn't make that. It's not that surprising, really.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised though if they do their own streaming service thing. Though it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's possible, but well, I mean, again, it would be like Sony to be like we all know that Sony is aside from PlayStation, Sony is an absolute broken mess.
Yeah.
Like Sony exists, only exists because the PS5 is so successful. If the next PS bombs, Sony is gone.
Yeah,
overnight. The rest of the company is an absolute, especially their movie set. The movie side is an absolute shit show. Yeah. So, if they would like, oh, hang on a minute, it's been 5 years now. Everyone's already got a streaming service. Why don't we do one? It's like that's such a typical thing to do. Like, come to the party late. I'm like, hey, what about us? And everyone's like, well, what about you? It's we've done this.
Yeah.
That's a Sony move if ever I saw one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so let's move to our topic of the show. So, video game franchises that are becoming TV series. We have, of course, Halo is going to be moving to Paramount Plus. Talking about streaming services here, right?
Yeah.
We've had series like Castlevania on Netflix,
which is good.
Of course, The Witcher. That is on Netflix as well. And Dan, you're watching that still, right?
I'm only about 2 episodes in.
Only 2. Okay.
Yeah, I'm busy doing other stuff.
Damn it, finish that.
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
I finished WandaVision last night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
good.
Yeah. So I mean, all these different series. Of course, we probably the one I'm looking forward to the most, of course, is the Assassin's Creed series. It's going to be coming to Netflix.
Oh, it's going to be rubbish. Spoilers.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say. Yeah. Well. So, Dan, what do you think would make a successful, TV series from a video game franchise? What do you think?
Metroid.
What is the recipe for success?
As we found out though, like you can have the best idea in the world or the best games licenses, but without proper decent writing, it's valueless, isn't it? So I mean, you're kind of beholden to the fan base, which is an awful place to be because then no one gets what they want. So I think the one that has a lot of potential, I think, is the Mass Effect one. If that does happen, because there is so much lore already outstanding, and there's already so much. The universe is so huge. There's so much to talk about. Yeah. So I think having the expanse and the variety of things to be done within the stories makes for good TV. I mean, but the trouble is, Star Trek back in the day, the episodes were one and done. You watched the episode, and it ended the same as it started. There was still a crew, there was still an Enterprise, there was still a blah 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 blah. They don't do that anymore. Basically, everything on Netflix and all these TV shows, they're just essentially elongated movies now. Yeah. So you won't have that, kind of drop in and have a neat little story, then move on. Neat little story, move on. It will be one giant drawn out thing to its possible detriment. See, Assassin's Creed would work quite well as maybe like a one and done because it'd be prohibitively expensive, but each episode could be in like a different timepiece, focusing on different sect of the assassins or something. So that variety would be good. That variety would do it very, very well.
Like, for example, one season would be in a particular era, then the second season would be in another era.
Quite. So maybe, or literally like every other episode, they switch it up a bit. I mean, that should be good.
Okay, we have a lot of comments today.
Superb.
Yes. So I want to read these. So the question was that I posed, how can a video game franchise become a successful TV series? So we have a lot of comments on this I want to get to. So a community member named Little Dread, he says, by having writers and showrunners who are fans of the source material first and foremost,
Yeah.
and producers that will let the creative teams and leads do what they are good at. You cannot adapt a game into a series if you shit all over the source material. That's what he says there, yeah. Crumbletta, another community member, she says, by staying true to the original characters, even if not the exact plot, I would imagine. Also following the same rules of the world as the game.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, makes sense.
Looker Sifu says, have a genuine premise that isn't just, quote, it's video games but TV, end quote. Castlevania animated series is a good example of taking an idea and exploring it in your own way to make something that doesn't ignore its roots, but doesn't feel bound to them so tightly as to be afraid to step on a toe or two.
Yeah.
Of course, vampires and other forms of the occult have long histories in television and other shows already, so easier to pull tropes long established there.
Yeah. And the fact that the animation helps as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Turn-based Carl, one of our community members, he says, first, it needs a production team behind it that understands and appreciates the source material. Then it needs the financial backing to make it a quality production. Finally, it needs to be marketed well to the general audience or get enough exposure via social media.
It's interesting.
And finally, go ahead, Dan.
Just on the back of that, it's interesting because like that comment raises a good point. Like, I mean, would advertising as based on a hit video game be a detriment, or would it be a bonus? Because again, you know, there is still a lot of negativity towards video games. People think, oh, you know, stupid kids games, it's boring and stuff. So announcing that X, Y, and Z is based on the hit video game, is that going to be like a selling point for anyone who isn't a gamer? Be like, oh, anyway, but yeah, sorry.
And finally, Nerdy Jane, of course, friend of the show, and she's been a guest on our show, community member. She says, for me, it has to be unique enough so it's not just a retelling of the game, but have enough connection that it feels like it is part of the series. Yeah. For example, the Fallout show coming to Prime. I want to see power armor, ghouls, vaults, chems, robots like the Mr. Handy, maybe some throwback locations or references to big story points like Project Purity. But I want a different location, a different story, different characters. And then she puts in parentheses here, though if they brought in Hancock as a character, I would be totally fine with it in caps. Yeah. I really hope that they don't continue any of the stories either. Don't give me New Vegas 2.
Yeah.
I made my own decisions in New Vegas. Don't ruin my story by forcing a certain ending.
That's another really good point.
Continuing from there. Yeah.
Yeah, because in something like that, when it is so personal and you know it is driven by your choices, and watching it on screen, that will piss you off. Yeah. Being like, oh, I didn't do that. You know, I killed Valentine or whatever ABC, or I chose with the initiative. Blah blah blah. Yeah, that's such a really good point. Yeah, but I agree with that entirely because the idea of continuing the story, or retelling it, like. Again, we discussed this. Like the whole Last of Us TV series is utterly pointless. It's so redundant. It makes my head spin. I don't know why. It's purely selling the friggin' name. A, it's probably going to suck, and B, like we already know the story. There's nothing you can add to it.
It's going to turn into another Walking Dead, basically.
Well, so they can be the continuing adventures of Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
But we
know in a world that can never have a cure. You know.
Yeah, I guess, but what? It doesn't. It just seems so pointless. I mean, you don't make and okay, have it last us. Don't have it about Joel and Ellie because we already know exactly what happens to them and how it happens to them and why it happens to them. It's been done flawlessly. Well, part 2 is pretty flawed, but you know, why bother? Again, it baffles me that this even exists. It's purely trying to sell the name. Yeah. It's so dumb. But yeah, but again, a story in that universe covering similar themes would be excellent. Yeah, a rehash of the game is utterly doomed to failure.
What other video game series would you like to see come to TV?
Metroid, for sure. Metroid, I think it'd be great. I want it, but they won't, because the idea of having a lone woman having an adventure in space isn't. It could work, but no one's brave enough to do it. She'd have to be a part of a band, a team of friggin' mercenaries, and there'd be the goofy one, there'd be the tech one, there'd be the smart one, there'd be the explosive one, and it'd be so effing generic. I mean, I've already written it for them. There's someone listening to this at friggin' Paramount going, yep, check, right, in production now. Yeah, but that'd be amazing. But that would be a one and done. So it'd be like the Mandalorian, but with a girl and Metroids. But anything like I said, though, I think that the Mass Effect has the potential to be amazing. Like it could literally just be like Star Trek. Yeah. It could be, Shepard at N5, going across the galaxy, solving problems, like using diplomacy and guns when they have to. I think the potential for a Mass Effect series is immense. I think.
Yeah, with Henry Cavill in it. Yeah.
Well, why not? I mean, he's giving everything, isn't he?
Yeah. How about a Gears series? Gears of War.
I mean, that would absolutely work. Absolutely, that would work. I'd certainly watch that. That'd be great. If they could tone down the ridiculousness of it, because Gears of War it's really clever in the way it presents utter ridiculousness as quite heavy and serious, which is quite clever because the game is ridiculous. I'd like that. Yeah, that'd be good.
I think Dave Bautista?
He's been campaigning for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's well up for it. I think he would be really, really good in it. Yeah, that would be good. But I think that'd be great. Anything like that would be good. Kane and Lynch, although the game is poo, the idea for a movie or TV series based on that is actually quite compelling. Like a psychopath and and drug-addled maniac and his crime, overlord mate. That'd be quite fun. Quite a lot of body.
How about Alan Wake?
Obviously, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Because again, the game is quite limited, but the narrative is actually a really good idea.
So many avenues where they could explore.
Yeah, I'd play that. I'd rather watch that. Yeah. But but we have a Super Mario movie coming, so that'd be brilliant. Great. It is so hard because again, everyone has reactions to these games in different ways. Everyone plays them differently, and it's gonna be hard to meet up. All these people's expectations and experiences with one guy's screenplay, or a handful of guys, or a handful of people, I should say, screenplay. Why not?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways, a lot of different games that they could explore. That's for sure. So
yeah. I mean, we know why. We know why Witcher did well. I mean, Witcher, based on a video game, deserves massive quote marks because it's actually based on a series of books that predated the video game. So, I mean, you could argue that it's not a successful video game series. It's a successful series based on a series of novels. Right. And we've not had Castlevania. Castlevania is actually an interesting one because Castlevania, the animation on Netflix, that is technically canon, and they reference people and events and other things that tie in with the games itself. If you're in for a laugh, there are numerous videos on YouTube charting the weaving narrative, and people have tried their best to cobble together 35 years of Castlevania games into one cohesive narrative. Again, that's why that works. And again, the commenter said, things about vampires and that, it's an easy sell because there's so much shared lore already. So you can go in, watch this thing about vampires, knowing that this is how vampires work, and it's going to tack on all these little video game elements onto that. So it's cool.
Do you think games from the East, say JRPGs, could they become successful TV series out in the West?
Yeah, I think because the writing generally holds up. Yeah. A lot of people would dream of, would wish for having some sort of Zelda TV series. Yeah. I think that would probably be poo. Yeah. I don't think that would work very well at all. based on
Could you just imagine a Persona series?
Yeah, see, that would probably work because again, the writing and the narrative that could work. Yeah, and I think that'd do really, really well. Everyone loves teen drama. Everyone loves Japan and Japanese teen dramas, and everyone loves weird magical powers and summoning demons. So, or summoning personas rather. I think that could do really, really well. I mean, the budget would be phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
but that'd be really cool. But things like most of those RPGs of any description would do really, really well, just because of the quality of the writing post 2000. I think it'd be a slam dunk. Yeah.
Okay, so that was our topic of the show, talking about video game franchises and how they could possibly become successful TV series.
Yeah.
So now let's move on, Dan, to your retro topic of the week.
There already? Oh, blimey.
Yeah, retro topic of the week. Yeah. There you go. Awesome.
No worries.
So, Phoenix, he would love you for that, man.
Yeah, that's good. This week, I finally got around to buying a original Master System, the Master System Power Base, the long, sleek VCR looking Master System. So I've got them all now, which is very cool. And so I've been on a little Master System mini binge, and it's pretty damn interesting because obviously you're from the States, you grew up in America, so the Master System is an absolute abject failure for you guys, and in Japan where it was, it's so crazy.
Yeah, can you believe that? Yeah.
Yeah, so in the States, I think the NES outsold the Master System by 30 to 1.
Yeah.
No, wait, it's more than that, isn't it? So in the US, it's between 2 and 3 million units of Master System sold, whereas 32 million freaking or more, between 30 and 60 million NES is sold in the US alone. It's mental.
Yeah, in the US, it was all about the Genesis. Yeah, so.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it did a lot of good towards lining that up. But so the Master System was the third. Well, actually, it's more than that, but it's the third main console from Sega. So previously, it had the SG-1000 and SG-1002, which is a brilliant naming convention. So SG-1000 and then SG-1002. Not 1002 or 1000 plus 2, 1002. It's just great. I love the way you have just two arbitrary numbers just wedged together. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it had a lot of similarities when it got re-released in 1987 as a Master System. And the one I've got has a cartridge and a card slot, the little a flat card, like a little credit card with the game on it, which obviously suffered from having very small file sizes, which is why they only had about a handful of games made for it, which is cool. I haven't got any yet because they're quite expensive. What can I say? So, it came out as the Power Base, as big, long, chunky, red and black, sleek-looking model. It came built in with 2 games. If you turn the machine on without a cart in, it would load up to to Hang On, the motorbike game. But if you turn the machine on pressing buttons 1 and 2 and up, it would load a little secret game called Snail Maze, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. You've got a little yellow snail. You've got to navigate it through a maze. Brilliant. Genius. Yeah. So, it got absolutely humped in the US and Japan. There was bugger all software for it. It was, drip release of software. And quite early on, Sega gave up with America and in kind of Japan. So they kind of aimed it at Europe and South America, where it did mentally well. And sad story in the UK, when it launched, they missed the Christmas window. They'd had loads of pre-orders and loads of sales, but they didn't get the stock in shops until Boxing Day, which is essentially Christmas is done, and they were a day late, literally a day late. It's heartbreaking.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Master System is actually a bit more powerful than NES, and some of the games comparatively, the games that came out on the Master System, game that came out on the NES, of the same game, look way better on the Master System. For example, if you look at the Choplifter, which is a launch game on the Master System, Choplifter on the Master System and Choplifter on the NES one is really, really ugly. Master System, way better. And as you know, back in the day, Nintendo had that really slimy practice where if you made a game for Nintendo's NES, you couldn't make any games for any other system.
Yeah.
which sucks. If that hadn't been the case, I mean, it would have been a completely different race. If the Mass System could have made their own, if people could have made their own Mass System games, oh my god, because it would have looked better and sounded better. It's crazy.
Yeah, Nintendo pretty much locked everyone down.
Yeah, it sucked because, like I said, if it hadn't been the case, it would have been a very different story. If the software supply in the States and Japan hadn't been absolutely throttled by Nintendo, you would have seen a very different result, I think. So, fun fact: the last release for the Mass System, last official release for the Mass System, was the original Sonic on the Mass System, which is really weird because Sonic 2 came out for the Master System. They made Sonic 2. It didn't even get released in the US. It didn't even get released in Japan. Like, Sonic 2 only came out in PAL territories, which is crackers.
Yeah.
So yeah, the PAL European library is 3 times the size of the US library of games. It later had a hardware revision. The Master System 2 came out and had 2 different versions. One game released with Alex Kidd built into it, which is great. And Alex Kidd in Miracle World. It had a cart release, but then when the became built into the machine itself, they quit the cart, which means now the carts are worth a small fortune, which is very cool. Later versions had Sonic built into the BIOS, so you turn it on without a cart and Sonic would load up. Yeah, awesome. So amazing games. Psycho Fox is really, really good platformer game. Alex Kidd is actually a really good game. Operation Wolf, the light gun arcade game, is pretty good. Wonder Boy 3, amazing game. Choplifter launch title. California Games looks amazing. Of course, Phantasy Star, a game I finished playing not so long ago.
Yeah.
Quality RPG. Sonic 1, 2, and Chaos. Only one of those came out in the States and Japan. And I didn't know about this. There was actually really cool. The original NES Zelda, there was a clone of that called Golden Axe Warrior, and it looks exactly the same as Legend of Zelda. It's nuts. It's a top-down little RPG. So yeah, but interesting. One point. Final point. Brazil. This was massive. The Mass System was so huge. It's getting support like now. I mean, they kind of stopped.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's the longest running system ever. It's the longest running system ever. It's still going. It's still getting support today. Yeah, it's called the Tech Toy, and so is the Mega Drive actually. Wow. But it's crackers. Just how today it's still a huge thing in Brazil. Awesome. Like, as in, it's comparable to like PS4 in terms of sales. It's crackers. But yeah, so I'm still going. I've got a bunch of games coming for me. I bought a lot of games off eBay to play on my newfound Master System, and yeah, I'll be continuing my adventures on the Master System, and I might even stream a couple on original hardware. See how I feel.
Cool.
But yeah, everyone get involved. Emulate it if you have to. Some quality games on there.
Cool. All right. So thanks, Dan, for the retro topic of the week on the Master System. Yeah.
Yep. You've been sitting there, haven't you? With your finger poising that bloody button.
Hey, it's Sega, man. So anyway, thanks a lot for that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So up next, the new and upcoming video game releases for the week of March 8th through 14th via Metacritic, I should say. 3 games on the list this week. So first game on the list, it's not a new game, but it's coming to the Switch. Apex Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that game. Yeah, it's coming on March 9th to the Switch. Yes. Conquer with character in Apex Legends, a free-to-play battle royale shooter where legendary characters with powerful abilities team up to battle for fame and fortune on the fringes of the frontier. So, yeah, action shooter, first-person tactical, coming out on the 9th for the Switch. I don't know. I don't think many people are probably going to play this on the Switch. I think most people that have been playing it, they're going to continue playing it either on PC or Xbox or PlayStation. What do you think, Dan? I think. Go ahead, Dan. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. And of course, it's going to take a massive hit graphically to run.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, it's a good idea considering will you need to be on Switch Online to play it? Because I know I think on the PS4 you don't have to be on PS Plus to play Apex Legends, do you? I think you can just play it for free. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Like, I've got a mate in Japan who's really hounding me to start playing it. So I've downloaded it, but I just can't bring myself to play it at the moment.
Yeah.
I get it, but like online multiplayer games just absolutely bore me to tears. I don't have any motivation to play it. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's lovely, and I'm sure everyone's having a really good time. But for me, it's just so unappealing.
Yeah, my son plays it every day. It's huge out here in Japan.
Yeah?
I mean, as is Fortnite, and especially with the kids,
Sure.
So,
I've absolutely no interest in it.
So we were talking earlier in the show about, Nintendo and their, coming, a new Switch model is going to be coming later in the year, with a 4K resolution if you dock it to the TV. There you go. There's Apex. Wait for that.
Yeah.
Meh. Yeah, exactly. Next up on the list, Monster Energy Supercross 4, coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 11th. So I don't know if you've heard of this game, Dan. So Monster Energy.
All right.
Cross is Super again. The official video game of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship is back with its 4th edition, promising to be the most extreme ever. So, just another racing, arcade, simulation, automobile game. So
everything about that just screams. I mean, I'm sure it's a really good game. I'm sure they'll work really hard to make it, but most of it just screams just generic. And like that title is like so extreme, early 2000s.
Yeah, the Monster Energy.
Yeah, it's like, Monster Energy presents Nitro Racing Circus. XXX.
Don't get me wrong. I love Monster Energy. I drink it every day. So
what, really?
Yes, 1 can a day.
Jeez, you're going to get diabetes. Knock that shit off. It's really bad for you. There's no reason to drink that. Oh my God, I'm worried about you, dude.
That's my addiction, man.
No, kick it like yesterday.
That plus all the other tea that I drink during the day. So
that's all right, but Monster, ew.
Yeah, well, it's got like a ton of caffeine in it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it keeps me going through the day because I'm like, usually super tired.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, finally on the list, it's been out for a while now, but it's coming to PS5. A Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. So coming on March 12th, the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. So coming to the Switch as well. So it's about time for a brand whomping new Crash Bandicoot game. Crash forward into a time-shattered adventure with your favorite marsupials. Neo, Cortex, and Intrupy are back at it again and launching an all-out assault on not just this universe, but the entire multiverse. So action platformer, 3D platformer. So coming out on the 12th. So I mean, for those of you out there who have your PS5s, here's another game that might get upscaled resolution, all that. But and they were talking about this during the State of Play as well. So So anyway, and coming to Series X too. So So and the Switch, so those of you on the Switch that want to, probably it'll be better to play docked, but if you want to play it in handheld mode, you can give it a try.
Yeah. Why not?
So Apex, Motocross, or Supercross, I should say, and Crash Bandicoot 4. Which one, Dan? I say Crash.
If I have to choose any, it'll be Crash. Meh.
Yeah.
Pretty much how I feel about that one.
Yeah. So, next week there's 4 games on the list so far, so we shall see. Okay. We shall see how that goes.
Oh.
So, kind of a slow week for new game releases, but a lot of that's also due to COVID too. So, a lot of stuff that was actually Far Cry 6 was supposed to be coming out around this time, but that was delayed as well. Giancarlo Esposito.
That's it.
Yeah, he's going to be the main villain in Far Cry
Mm.
6 when it comes out. So, all right. So before we conclude the episode, I want to let everyone know where you can find me on social media. You can find my website for gaming content at expat2020.live and all my other social media links to Twitter, Instagram, my Discord server, the podcast website, as well as my YouTube channels at Linktree. That's linktr.ee/expat2020. So on Linktree. I am also a live streamer and a Twitch affiliate. You can catch my live streams on twitch.tv/expat2020 as I do a gaming and special event live stream, as well as a supplement to the podcast on Fridays called The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news week in review live stream from 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 2 p.m. GMT out there where you are, Dan.
Yeah.
So that does it for me. What about you, Dan? Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch, but I don't really do much. Twitch, I am press start to game, all one word, press start to game. And that's pretty much it for now.
Cool. And what are you going to be playing this coming week or streaming?
Yeah, I might stream some oldies, some Master System games hooked up so on original hardware, but people rave and talk a good game about original hardware, but it just looks like arse. Like I know it sounds bad, but like I'd rather watch someone emulate it and I can see what's happening than get a grainy composite to HDMI adapted video out. But so I'll be playing some of that. I'll be playing more No Man's Sky because I want to know where it goes. Yeah, that's me.
I'm thinking of streaming Quantum Break. It was a game that came out during the Xbox One era.
Yeah.
Back in, I think, 2014, 2015. Yeah. Thinking of streaming that. Maybe some Valhalla, I don't know. I'm getting to where I want to play some other games. I might play some more Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Actually, I never finished Days Gone, so I might go back and play that on PlayStation. Days Gone. So and that's also coming to PC actually. So
all right, okay.
Yeah, but that's it for me. All right,
awesome.
So thank you so much, Dan. And this has been episode 30. And before we end the podcast, our indie recording artist spotlight. This week it's on Casey Parnell, who is based out of Nashville, Tennessee, writing songs from his personal experiences. Casey is a self-described wandering heart, wilderness walker, and lonely soul. Casey has written over 500 and recorded over 250 songs, and his music has been featured in several national advertising campaigns. From his album titled Badlands, and the song is called Shot in the Dark. Shot in the Dark. Yep.
Sounds good.
So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Dan. We hope to see you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Bye.
Nerves, son, you never seem to keep your cool. You're just drowning in the deep end of the pool. Win or lose, yeah, you've just been getting through, but there's something deep inside you've gotta do. Everyone's watching, stepping out in the room. Everyone's watching, seeing what you might do. It's just a shot in the dark, you know. You can't stay where you are. Shoot from the heart, you know. Already this far, and you've been scared of the dark. Oh, it's just a shout in the dark. Oh, right on cue. Yeah, the fear holds on to you, and it feels like you're a ghost here in the room. But then you move, just like something's breaking through. We do crazy things with nothing left to lose. Everything's stopped, but no one knows what to do. Happens least when you expect it to. It's just a shout in the dark. You know, you know, you know. You can't stay where you are. Shoot from the heart. You know, you know, you know. Already this far, and you've been scared of letting go. Afraid to even start. Reach for the stars with all that you are. It's just a shout in the dark. Oh, it's just a shout in the dark. It's just a shout in the dark. You know, you know, you know. You can't stay where you are. Shoot from the heart. You know, you know, you know. You're already so far.